Martin Luther King Jr. stands as one of the most significant figures in American history. His leadership during the Civil Rights Movement transformed the nation's laws and its very conscience. He challenged America to live up to its founding ideals of liberty, equality, and human dignity. More than a political leader, King was a profound moral voice. Through his unwavering commitment to nonviolence, his powerful oratory, and deep spiritual convictions, he reshaped the struggle for civil rights. His enduring legacy continues to influence American society today. This script explores who Martin Luther King Jr. was and the principles that guided his life. We will examine the movement he helped lead and the lasting impact he had on the United States and the world. His story is one of protest, legislation, moral courage, and a vision for a more just society. Martin Luther King Jr. was born on January 15, 1929, in Atlanta, Georgia. He grew up in a deeply religious African-American family. His father, Martin Luther King Sr., was a Baptist minister, and his mother, Alberta Williams King, was a church organist and educator. Growing up in the segregated South, King experienced racism firsthand from a young age. He witnessed the humiliations imposed by Jim Crow laws and was often barred from playing with white children. These early experiences profoundly shaped his understanding of injustice. Despite these hardships, King's home life emphasized discipline, faith, and education. He was taught that all people were equal in the eyes of God. This foundational belief instilled in him that injustice was morally wrong. King was an exceptional student, entering Morehouse College at just 15 years old. There, he studied sociology and developed a deep interest in social justice and ethical philosophy. His academic journey continued at Crozer Theological Seminary. He later earned a doctorate in systematic theology from Boston University. During his studies, King was profoundly influenced by Christian theology and the philosophy of nonviolent resistance. Mahatma Gandhi's teachings were particularly impactful. He also drew inspiration from thinkers who emphasized social responsibility and moral action. These intellectual and spiritual foundations would become the bedrock of his future activism. At the core of Martin Luther King Jr.'s leadership was his philosophy of nonviolent resistance. King believed that violence only perpetuated hatred and injustice. He argued that nonviolence, conversely, had the power to transform both the oppressed and the oppressor. His commitment to nonviolence was not passive. It was an active, courageous method. It sought to confront injustice without destroying human dignity or resorting to destructive means. This approach was deeply rooted in Christian love. King described this love as agape, a selfless, redemptive love that seeks the good of all people. He argued that nonviolence was not only morally right, but also strategically effective. It offered a powerful way to achieve lasting change. By exposing the brutality of segregation through peaceful protest, the movement could awaken the conscience of the nation. This philosophy became the guiding force of the civil rights movement. It distinguished King's leadership from more militant approaches. While he respected the anger and frustration felt by many African Americans, King insisted on moral means. He believed that lasting social change could only be achieved through peaceful, principled action. Martin Luther King Jr. rose to national prominence during the Montgomery bus boycott of 1955 to 1956. This pivotal event began after Rosa Parks was arrested for refusing to give up her seat to a white passenger. King was chosen to lead the boycott. For over a year, Black residents of Montgomery refused to ride city buses. They endured harassment, arrests, and violence with remarkable resilience. The boycott ultimately succeeded, leading to a Supreme Court ruling that declared bus segregation unconstitutional. This victory established King as a central leader in the struggle for civil rights. He went on to help found the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, or SCLC. This organization was dedicated to coordinating nonviolent protests across the South. Throughout the late 1950s and 1960s, King led or supported major campaigns against segregation and discrimination. These included the Birmingham Campaign, which bravely exposed the violent resistance of segregationists. Images of police dogs and fire hoses used against peaceful protesters shocked the world. He also led the Selma voting rights marches, which highlighted the systemic barriers preventing Black Americans from exercising their right to vote. These actions galvanized national attention and support. In 1963, King delivered his most famous speech, "I Have a Dream," during the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. Speaking before hundreds of thousands, he articulated a powerful vision of an America where individuals would be judged by their character. This iconic speech helped build public support for crucial civil rights legislation. The efforts of Martin Luther King Jr. and the broader civil rights movement led to profound legal and social changes. King's leadership played a significant role in the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. This landmark legislation outlawed segregation in public places. It also banned employment discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. This act was a monumental step toward equality. The following year, the Voting Rights Act of 1965 was enacted. This act eliminated many discriminatory practices that had prevented African Americans from exercising their right to vote. These laws marked a turning point in American history. They brought the nation closer to fulfilling its constitutional promise of equality for all citizens. Beyond legislation, King helped transform public attitudes. By framing civil rights as a moral issue, he challenged Americans to confront injustice. He forced the nation to reckon with the gap between its ideals and its realities. His speeches and writings resonated deeply, inspiring a moral awakening. King's work fundamentally altered the national conversation about race and justice. In the later years of his life, Martin Luther King Jr. expanded his focus beyond racial segregation. He began to address economic inequality and militarism, recognizing their interconnectedness. He believed that true justice required not only equal legal rights, but also fair access to economic opportunity. King spoke out against poverty, advocating for policies that would uplift the poor of all races. He understood that economic disparity was a significant barrier to true freedom and equality. His vision encompassed a broader human rights agenda. King also became a vocal critic of the Vietnam War. He argued that it diverted resources from vital social programs at home. He maintained that the war contradicted the values of peace and justice he championed. His opposition to the war was controversial, leading to criticism from political leaders and even some civil rights allies. Nevertheless, King maintained that moral consistency demanded opposition to violence and injustice wherever they occurred. These later positions demonstrated King's belief that civil rights were inseparable from broader struggles for human dignity and global peace. On April 4, 1968, Martin Luther King Jr. was tragically assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee. He was there supporting striking sanitation workers, continuing his fight for economic justice. His death shocked the nation and sparked widespread grief and unrest. Riots broke out in many cities, reflecting both the profound pain of his loss and the deep frustrations that remained unresolved. King's assassination marked the loss of a powerful moral leader, yet it also solidified his place in American history as a martyr for justice. In death, as in life, his message continued to challenge the nation. It called upon America to confront injustice and pursue reconciliation. His sacrifice underscored the urgency of his cause. The impact of Martin Luther King Jr. on the United States extends far beyond the civil rights era. His work reshaped American law, culture, and moral discourse. Today, segregation is illegal, and voting rights are protected by federal law. The language of equality and civil rights is deeply embedded in American political life. King's influence can be seen in later movements for social justice. These include campaigns for women's rights, disability rights, immigrant rights, and LGBTQ+ equality. His commitment to nonviolence continues to inspire activists around the world. The establishment of Martin Luther King Jr. Day as a federal holiday reflects the nation's recognition of his immense contributions. Schools, streets, and monuments bear his name. His words are taught to new generations as a reminder of America's ongoing responsibility to pursue justice. King's legacy is a constant call to action, urging continuous progress. Martin Luther King Jr. was more than a leader of a movement. He was a transformative figure. He helped redefine the moral direction of the United States through his faith, courage, and unwavering belief in the power of love and nonviolence. He challenged a divided nation. He urged America to move closer to its highest ideals. His impact is measured not only in laws passed or protests led, but in the enduring call he issued to every generation. That call is to stand against injustice, to speak for the voiceless, and to believe that a more just and compassionate society is possible. Martin Luther King Jr.'s life and legacy remain a guiding light. They illuminate America's continuing journey toward equality and human dignity for all.
I hope that I've enlightened you today. To help our channel grow, please comment, share, like, and subscribe. Have a marvelous day. Take care of yourself and your loved ones.